Good morning, Canada. My name is Matthew Green. You're very proud NDP federal candidate right here in Hamilton Center, running for re-election in this election 45 campaign. It has been an incredible start on the ground. We have people from across the city, across the province, and even people chipping in from across the country to ensure that the working class values continue to be well represented in Ottawa. We're here in Hamilton today. Today's topic for Parliament to the People is labor solidarity. We want to talk about workers today. We want to talk about what's happening out there in the economy, how people are impacted by it, what's going on with jobs, the Trump tariffs, you name it. You get the chance to shape this discussion. You can feel free to put your questions in the comment section. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to try to track all the questions, answers the ones that I can get to. We are live streaming across multiple platforms. In theory, we are on YouTube, 2 Facebook pages, Instagram, and TikTok. So we are trying to meet people where they're at with these digital door knocks. I'm going to see what we have going on here with TikTok. I'm going to check that out. There seems to be some decent engagement that happens there, as well as Instagram and Facebook. You know, I know people are either settling in, working from home, at home, what have you. They're tuning in with Parliament to the People. Shout out to the folks that are getting a chance to tune on. This is Matthew Green, your NDP candidate right here in Hamilton Center. And today's topic, labor. Let's talk about the workers. Let's talk about the working class. Let's talk about people who have been absolutely exploited in this economy, where they are absolutely trying to take every drop of blood out of the stone, whether it's your housing costs, your food costs, your energy costs, your damn cell phone. Our cell phone rates are crazy. Credit card interest rates, every single pernicious and parasitic way in which this kind of ruling class of bankers and corporate CEOs sucks the life right out of us. So that's the topic for today. It is a solidarity canvas that we're going to have tonight. I'm very proud to share that I have been endorsed by the Hamilton and District Labor Council. That means a lot to me. Really happy about that. We're going to have the Hamilton District Labor Council, the Ontario Federation of Labor, and the CLC all coming to our campaign office tonight to go door to door, street to street, neighborhood to neighborhood. And if you are in the area and you are tuning in, or if you happen to watch this Parliament to the People a little bit later on in the day, and you want to walk shoulder to shoulder with working class leaders, feel free to come on in to our campaign office and join the Solidarity Canvas tonight. Another way that people are showing solidarity is with lawn signs. We have an incredible team led by our sign captain, our chair, Colin. He's got a great system. People go online, they request a lawn sign, and then we get a chance to go ahead and check things out. I'm reading the TikTok. I don't know who Sheep King is, so that's okay. I would like to remind people that in politics, even when you're doing really well, it is still the case that half of the people might not like you. And I find, that if you take really strong positions on issues that matter to you, it is very likely that people on the other side of that issue will not like you. And that is okay by me. That is okay by me. I am not in this to try to be everything to everybody. I am in this to represent people, my neighbors in my neighborhoods, right here in Hamilton Center, to the best of my abilities. So whoever the Sheep King is, I got an idea with a name like that, but it is what it is. It looks like everybody's scrambling in this election. It is definitely uncertain times. If you're tuning in and you want to drop a comment in the comment section, feel free to do that. That would be a good start to start the discussion. Otherwise, let's talk about the labor issues. Let's talk about what's going on when companies go bankrupt. You only have to look to what's happening at Hudson's Bay to see who this economy takes care of. We know that they have gone bankrupt. They've liquidated, 6 of their stores? And here's the kicker. Here's how it works in these capitalist systems. That when all of the workers in the working class, the frontline people at Hudson's Bay, people who've worked their entire lives for this company, decades for this company, are going to walk away with no severance because they declared bankruptcy. But guess what? The managers at Hudson's Bay, what do they get? What do they get when they run the company into the ground? They get $3 million in bonuses, up to $3 million in bonuses, while the frontline workers get nothing. I'm talking about 121 managers and executives. But yet, when you come to the frontline workers, 9,300 of them, they're going to lose their jobs. They don't even get severance. That's how bankruptcy laws in this country are an absolute pickpocket. They pickpocket workers, liquidate the assets, and then have the audacity to give bonuses to the same managers who ran the company into the ground. That is wild. I'm just recalling right here the story from the CBC. Shout out to the CBC for covering this. And the Canadian Labour Congress President B. Brusk says they need to go back and actually make sure that the workers get some of that $3 million. That's what they need to do. It's wild. I cannot imagine how it would feel to work for a company for decades only to have them turn around, run the company into the ground, and then leave you with nothing. Sheep King was on my live last night. I didn't have Sheep King. I had JB and I had Small Town Lefty. So I don't know. Maybe you're calling them something else. I don't know. But it is what it is. We can disagree in politics. That's what democracy is all about. I do not shy away from that. I obviously have strong opinions about things. That's why I'm in doing what I'm doing, because I have strong opinions about things. And sometimes my opinions do not mesh with the opinions of others, and that is okay. That is okay. We're going to be informed by it. We want to know, how people are thinking. I want to do my best to represent constituents here. There's no doubt about that. But I'm not beholden to, what the whims are of any particular person who might happen to have a platform or an opinion. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. So I'm not sure if we are reaching Instagram or not. It says that it's streaming, but I haven't been able to call it up. So if you are on Instagram, it'd be interesting to know if I made it there. So feel free to put any comments you have in the comment section. There's a comment here from TikTok that says union leadership are falling in line with the Conservative Party. I don't think that's the case. Look, the building trades every now and again come out with these endorsements because Poilievre is absolutely in it for developers. He wants to see, big developers, big developments happen. And, union leaders are looking for jobs for their members. That's their constituency. That's their priority. That's their concern. So, I don't think you're going to see a big rush of union endorsements across the board. You're going to see some building trades. You might see the odd local, right? Because again, unions are democratic organizations. So every now and again, you might have a local president who's conservative, who, organizes within their local to provide an endorsement. That happens. That's politics. That is what it is. I also don't like it because I believe that when you invite somebody into your union hall who is one of the most anti-union politicians in a generation, I just find that a wild contradiction. I find it a wild contradiction for where people are versus their material conditions for their membership. But hey, that's just me. It is still within their rights to do that. And I call on, labor folks. I call on labor folks to actually question that, dig in, dig in if you have an opinion about that, and talk about the contradiction. Talk about the contradiction. So my wife being let go 2 years ago was a godsend from HBC. Yeah, because they likely would have been let go with a proper severance. once these companies claim bankruptcy, it is our opinion as New Democrats that as soon as a corporation claims bankruptcy, the first priority of the people that they owe should be their workers. All benefits, all pensions, all severances need to be paid first before anybody else, before any other private company, supplier, so on and so forth. It needs to go to their workers. How is that not theft? How is it not theft when you work your whole life, you trade your wages for benefits and for pension, and then you don't get anything? You don't get any consideration? That's wild to me. That is absolutely wild to me. I'm going to try again to get the folks on Instagram up and running and see what happens there. What do we got? Let's see what happens. I'm new to this restream. We were trying to make sure that we get a stream across a bunch of different platforms. So bear with me for a moment while I try to set up the stream key and hopefully get to the people on Instagram as well. Parliament to the people. Traditionally in campaigns, you go door to door, you make phone calls. What I'm doing right now is called a digital door knock. I am digitally door knocking people while they're at home, checking in, tuning in. Happy to do that. Let's see what happens if I can go live now. Doesn't look like it's rolling. I don't know that I'm on Instagram right now, but that's okay. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep it going. If you are on Instagram and you do see this live stream, feel free. Feel free. Let me see what we got here. All right. Let's do that. There we go. We're trying to get that going, and I don't know if that's going to work. So, what do we got? Common law married people have to pay tax as a household even though we don't own a home. That's an interesting comment coming in from TikTok. If you're on Facebook, good morning to the people who are tuning on with Facebook as well. Lucas and others, we appreciate you tuning in. And the folks that are on TikTok, I'm not sure if all the Facebook feeds are going into this or not, but we're going to give it a shot. Today is a Labor Day topic. So if you have any questions around workers, Big Rafi says can't afford to own a home. No. How could you? How could you with the artificial appreciation of the value of homes? Who drives that up? Who profits from that? Who profits from an average everyday Canadian having a $300,000 mortgage or an $800,000 mortgage? Who benefits? It's not the people who actually build the homes. It's not the people who actually build wealth in this country. It's bankers in the banking class. It is absolutely bankers in the banking class who want to see you have to work your entire life just to pay off an overinflated house. And that's ridiculous. By all accounts, that's a Ponzi scheme. And so many people are having the rug pulled from right underneath them right now, is what's happening. I'm back going through this, trying to make sure that I am catching some of the questions that are popping up. I don't know what happened with Instagram. Maybe I'll try one more time. I have left Twitter just out of principle, cannot be on that platform with Elon Musk, the fascist neo-Nazi. Cannot do it, will not do it. And so here we are. Why doesn't the NDP stand behind skilled trades? We absolutely stand behind skilled trades. We're the ones who fought for the tax benefit for traveling workers. The conservatives literally stole our homework, and the liberals put in a milquetoast plan that didn't do what we wanted to do. We believe that if a salesperson, a manager, if they can write off their travel, their hotel, their per diems, their tools, we believe that workers in the working class should too. That if you have to leave your family and go abroad to work somewhere, we believe that those tax considerations should happen too. We want to see mobility of the labor force in the country that doesn't penalize you. In other words, if you have to go to a job somewhere, and you're using your gas, you don't get the mileage, you had to pay for your tools, that's not written off. All those things should have tax fairness. We absolutely believe that. We absolutely believe that. We stand by it. But the truth is, like, there are some skilled trades who maybe don't see the contradiction of their position. Like, I can tell you, I encourage you to ask Pierre Polyev. Ask Pierre Polyev if he would stand against Clack and Merit and these other company organizations and associations that parade as being unions. They don't, and they won't, but we will, and we have. Right? We absolutely will, because we believe unions need to be a democratic function of the workers and not in association with the bosses. That's a very basic premise that we carry and we hold to be true. Lots of people with lots of comments. I don't have a crystal ball. So, how do you expect to reduce the deficit with all these cuts? These guys, it's a tax cut bonanza. They have no intention of reducing the deficit. They're going to give tax cuts to everybody. The first thing Mark Carney did was do a capital gains tax for people who make an additional $250,000 on stocks and assets that they already have in a year. That's wild. That's for millionaires. That's not for regular everyday people. It's crazy. So that's what we're doing. What do we got? I'm trying to keep up. There's lots of chat on TikTok, not as much on Facebook, or if there is, I'm not seeing it in the chat, but nevertheless, we're going to do the best we can. For whatever reason, it looks like Instagram is no es bueno. For Instagram, I'm going to try it one more time. It says it's streaming, but it doesn't appear to be streaming. So if you're on Instagram and you see this, let me know, because I don't see it and I'm trying to find it right here. Let me ask you something. If you were prime minister for a day, what would be your number one issue? What would be the first thing you would change if you were prime minister for a day? Money's not an issue. You can kind of do whatever you want to do. What would it be? Let us know in the comments. This is Parliament to the People. If you're just tuning in, my name is Matthew Green. I'm your very proud NDP candidate seeking re-election right here in Hamilton Center for my third term. And we are after it. Today, there's going to be a solidarity canvass with all the different unions, the Hamilton District Labor Council. We're going to be with the OFL, and we're going to be with, let's see if this works. I may have figured out Instagram. And we're going to be with the CLC. So shout out to everybody coming in to knock doors with us. We see you. We appreciate you. And we want to make sure that we can get it done. So come on in and get on the doors with us. Let's do that. What do we got? Live? Nope. We're going to try it one more time. And then we're going to let go of Instagram. We get lots of folks normally that tune in on Instagram, which is too bad. I'm still figuring out this process here that streams across a bunch of different platforms. Scott says, why doesn't the federal NDP and the provincial NDP take a stance on the justice system with regards to catch and release? Catch and release is like a conservative talking point. What do you mean catch and release? Do you know how many people are in jail right now because they can't get bail? They haven't been actually convicted. They haven't actually been convicted, but they're in jail because they can't afford bail. That's not catch and release. That's called catch and keep if you're poor. How's that justice? How's it justice you're doing time behind bars and you haven't actually been convicted? That's wild to me. That should be wild to anybody. I mean, have whatever politics you want, but surely you would agree that in this country, we shouldn't have people sitting behind bars who haven't actually been convicted for a long time simply because they can't afford bail, right? I think we would all agree on that. Would we not? Hopefully we would. Hopefully we would all agree on that. Okay, Instagram, I'm giving up on you for today. The whole system is messed up. I would agree. I would agree with that. It's pay to play. I would agree that we don't actually have a justice system. We have a legal system. And if you don't have the lawyers, you're out of luck. And there's not an equal application of the law as it should be. All of my all of my friends are considering leaving Canada so we don't have to pay income tax. Where are they going to go, Rafi? I would like to know that out of curiosity. Ooh, eat the rich. What else do we got? I'm reading the comments here, so bear with me. Bobby says, "Hey, Bobby, what's going on, Bobby? Something needs to be done about the addiction problem, like get some rehab set up. Help these people. They wouldn't be in jail." You're absolutely right. Our jails warehouse people who are living with brain injuries. There's like statistically, I'm not just pulling that out of the air. People who are dealing with addictions and mental health issues, people who are using drugs in a way that is, taking a hold of their life. They need to have it needs to be a healthcare question, not a criminal question. A healthcare question. That's what it needs to be. So we need to deal with it like a health crisis. I'm still going through the questions. Shout out to people that are tuning in. Matthew Green, Parliament to the People, right here in Hamilton Center. And tonight we're going to be having a labor solidarity canvas where we go door to door, street to street, neighborhood to neighborhood, starting at 5:30. You can come by our campaign office, get a chance to connect with our canvas crews, and get out there and talk to your neighbors, because that's how democracy works best, when people are out there talking to one another, having these discussions. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to do this digital door knock with you all and answer questions that you might have. Your base of moral supremacy will never win. Okay, I don't know if I can keep up with all the TikTok comments. There's clearly a conversation happening on TikTok. I'll do the best I can, but I can't commit that I'll be able to keep up with every comment that's happening there. You helped the cons block Parliament. I helped the cons block Parliament. In what way? I mean, I was there, angry liberal. I'm not sure where you're getting your information from. How did we help the cons block Parliament? How do we do that? I would love to know procedurally how we did that. If you can explain it, we can have the conversation. Otherwise, you're just reading angry liberal talking points. But go on. There are procedural processes in the House of Commons that liberals refuse to follow. That's what happens. I actually sit on the Committee of Ethics, Access to Information, and Privacy. So this is actually my wheelhouse. This is what I've been working on for the last 6 years. Parliament and parliamentarians, including the opposition, are the highest order of accountability in the Westminster system. In other words, we have the privilege to send for people, evidence, and documents. The government does not have the legal authority to block Parliament from accessing information in order to deliberate on the issues that matter to Canadians. This Liberal government was the least transparent government in generations. So much so, it makes Stephen Harper blush. I know that cracks the frame of how you view liberals and liberalism, but that's the truth. They used over 72 secret orders in council. What does that mean? It means they didn't even go to their own membership, their own Liberal Party, their own caucus. It went to the cabinet. It was secret. It was done. They passed secret orders in council 72 times. Prior to that, it only happened a handful of times. When we, at a committee, unanimously vote to receive documents, including when liberals vote on those documents, and the liberal government refuses to release them, they are in contempt of Parliament. Procedurally, that's how it works. I don't know what else to tell you. They can release the documents as per the wishes of the House or not. But when they don't, that is counter to the standing orders and the rules and procedures. So nobody's above accountability. There's a certain level of entitlement, I'm sorry, out of the liberal culture where they want to pretend to be, this justice base, so-called progressive, this progressive front. But when it gets down to the nitty gritty of actually having ethics in the way that they operate, they don't have them. They simply don't. The scandals are true. It's not a witch hunt. Unfortunately, it's not a witch hunt. That's the problem with these things, is that when they get their hands in the cookie jar because they've been in government for so long, they get real comfortable and they begin to feel entitled. And it is not my position to cover for liberals. So that's what happens there. I appreciate you asking the question. Angry liberal, turn me into the angry new Democrat. I'm not really angry. I'm just passionate about this. Angry liberal, go check the Hansard, find out what the motion was, find out what they did and what they didn't do. Staff do not have the ability to redact documents. That's not how Parliament works. We are parliamentarians. We are the grand inquest of the nation. By precedent, by legal opinion, MPs have the right to demand for documents unredacted. And when a committee democratically and unanimously passes that, or not, as long as they democratically pass it, that becomes the will of the committee. In a minority situation, when that committee report goes to the House of Commons and it is accepted as a report by the House of Commons, it becomes the will of the House of Commons. That's how the Westminster system works. You might not like it, the Liberals might not like it, but that's how it works. It's not sensitive information at all. Sensitive to the embarrassment of the government. That's why. Because it was embarrassing. Because they get their hands caught in the cookie jar and they get embarrassed. That's what happens. So now you're switching. You're moving the goalpost. I'm on TikTok, by the way. So if you're on Facebook, there's a comment. There's a whole conversation that's happening on TikTok right now. And unfortunately, it's not going to the main chat. So it kind of might feel like I'm talking in midair. I'm trying to find a way to have the overlay and to have all the different comments come in. You can see the comments that we have from Facebook, but for whatever reason, it's not coming out from TikTok. And I don't believe that that this is even going to Instagram. So that is what it is. It is 9:42. I've been at this for almost a half hour now. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for joining. If you're in the Hamilton area and you would like to request a lawn sign, we would love to see you do that. You can visit matthewgreen.ca. You can do that to volunteer, request the sign, or donate if you can. Consider this your morning digital door knock. I'm trying to get online in the morning. I'm trying to get online in the evening, and I'm trying to get a chance to meet people where they're at across a bunch of different platforms. I do appreciate the discussion. Part of the thing I love most about Parliament to the People is that it's like political roulette. So we do get to disagree about things and debate issues and be deliberative. And I think that's exactly what we need more of, not less. We don't need fealty to parties or leaders. We need deep democratic discussions about what we want to see out of the future of this country. So I appreciate all of you for joining from all political stripes and all backgrounds, for taking a minute to listen, to tune in. I appreciate you for that. In the meantime, I'm going to get back on the phones, and then we're going to get back on the doors, and we're going to continue to do this thing right to the end, fighting for and trying to earn every single vote right here in Hamilton Center.